In 2022, learning Python was a shortcut. In 2026, it might be a trap. There are people right now with degrees, full GitHubs, 3 certifications on their LinkedIn, moving back in with their parents. Not because they're bad, but because they're playing a game that doesn't exist anymore. Today, I'm breaking down the 5 real reasons Python isn't getting people hired in 2026. The first 4 you can fix this week. The 5th one is the one destroying entire careers right now. Almost nobody is talking about it. Stay until the end because reason number 5 is going to change the way you think about your career. 6 months ago, a subscriber sent me a message. He'd just finished a bootcamp. He had 12 projects on GitHub. He'd sent 183 applications. He got 2 interviews. 0 offers. And he asked me, did I do everything they told me to and it's still not enough? That question is this video. The honest answer is yes, he did everything they told him. The problem is that what they told him was never the full picture. Before we get into the 5 reasons, I want to tell you about a developer named Joaquin. He knew Python, really knew it. Clean code, real projects, landed a $2,000 client. And then he accidentally destroyed that client's business on Black Friday. A lawyer called him at 2:47 a.m. I'll come back to what actually happened because his story is the entire video in 4 minutes, and understanding it is the difference between knowing Python and being employable. Let's get into it. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Can you open a blank code editor, no YouTube video running, no Stack Overflow tab, no ChatGPT in the corner, and build something functional from scratch? If you hesitated, that's your first problem. There's a massive difference between knowing Python and recognizing Python. Tutorials create a false sense of competence. The code appears, it makes sense, it runs, and your brain says, I got this. But you don't know it, you recognized it. Watching someone swim doesn't teach you to swim. Recognizing code isn't the same as knowing it. The test is simple. Close everything, open a blank editor, rebuild the last project you learned without looking at anything. If you can't do it, that's not a character flaw. It's just where you actually are. And knowing that is worth more than 50 more tutorial hours. So stop consuming, start building. Whatever you learned last week, rebuild it from memory. Don't move on until you can. But maybe you can build from scratch. Maybe you code without handholding and you're still not getting hired. If that's you, your problem is next on the list and it's more fixable than you think. Think about what a recruiter's day looks like. 200 resumes. Every single one lists Python as a skill. 60% have a GitHub with tutorial projects. Why would they pick you? Here's what doesn't work. A Python calculator tells them you can copy instructions. A Flask to-do app. There are 47,000 identical ones on GitHub. A half-finished Twitter clone? That doesn't say developer. That says doesn't finish what they start. Here's what does. That's what replaces your Python calculator. A script that solves a real problem that existed outside a tutorial, for a friend, a family business, yourself. It doesn't need to be a paid project. It needs to be real. So this week, find one real problem, small is fine, and solve it. That one project is worth more than 10 tutorial completions. But I've talked to developers who had real-world projects and still kept getting rejected, which means the problem isn't the portfolio, it's something more invisible. And what I'm about to tell you is why good programmers lose job offers to mediocre ones. There's a number that made me feel genuinely bad when I understood it. 70% of tech jobs are never posted publicly. The ones that are posted, for those there are 200 candidates doing exactly what you're doing, sending cold applications, hoping someone looks. Entry-level openings have dropped more than 60% since 2022. You're not competing in a tough market, you're competing in a broken one. A recruiter told me something that landed hard. We don't hire the best candidate. We hire the best candidate someone already mentioned to us. That's not cynicism. That's just how hiring works. If nobody in tech knows your name, you're competing for 30% of the jobs against every other invisible candidate doing the exact same thing. Here's how you become visible without an audience and without being an extrovert. Join developer communities, Discord servers, subreddits, Slack groups. Don't lurk. Answer one question a day. Help one person 2 steps behind where you are. Post your process. Got stuck on this today. Here's how I figured it out. That's it. Everyone learning has been stuck. They remember the person who helped them think through it. Contribute to other people's projects. Every open source PR, every forum answer, it's a public business card. Visibility isn't optional. It's part of the job search itself. But even with visibility and real projects, there's a skill almost no course teaches that could cost you the offer at the final round. Technical interviews are half the equation. The other half is convincing someone they want to work with you every single day. Communicating impact. No Python course has ever taught you this. Tell me about a project you've built. The bad answer: I built a web scraper using Beautiful Soup and requests that extracts product data from e-commerce sites. The good answer: A friend runs a small online store. He was spending 5 hours a week manually checking 10 competitors' prices. I built a script that checks all of them every morning and emails him a formatted summary. Now he uses those 5 hours to actually sell. Same project, same code, completely different impact. One describes technology, the other describes what changed for a human being. Recruiters hire the second person every time because nobody hires code. They hire people who eliminate problems. For every project in your portfolio, have 3 answers ready. What problem did your code solve? How did you solve it? And what changed for the person who used it? Problem, solution, impact. Stop describing your tech stack in interviews. Start describing the problem you eliminated. But here's the hard truth. Everything so far is fixable with practice. Reason number 5 isn't about skills or communication. It's about a structural shift in the entire industry, and understanding it is the line between having a tech career and having an expensive hobby. Before I give you a single stat, do something for me. Open LinkedIn right now. Search Python Junior. Filter by date, last 30 days. Now mentally compare that to what the same search looked like in 2021. You don't need a study to explain what you're seeing, but the studies confirm it anyway. Industry reports estimate that 84% of developers are now using AI tools to write code. Around 41% of all code being written today is AI-assisted. The Stanford Digital Economy Lab found that employment for software developers aged 22 to 25 dropped nearly 20% from its 2022 peak. Not because those developers were bad, because companies ran the math. A senior engineer with AI tools produces what used to require a team of 3 juniors. Why hire a junior for $70,000 a year when Copilot costs $10 a month? And then there's something called vibe coding. Basically, you describe what you need to the AI like it's your developer, and it writes the code. Reports suggest 25% of U Combinator startups are now building products that are 95% AI generated. 1 engineer, no junior team, shipping real software. If you don't understand what that means for your career, you're still training like it's 2019. But, and this is the part almost nobody explains, it's not all junior roles disappearing. It's specifically the roles where the only skill on offer is writing code, because AI already writes code. Here's what AI cannot do, and I'm not going to give you a list. I'm going to ask you something instead. When was the last time you read someone's code, or your own, and thought, this is going to break when, not because it failed a test, but because you understood the context of the system it was living in? That judgment, that pattern recognition, that knowledge of what the business actually needs at 6 a.m. before the store opens, AI doesn't have it. Not because AI isn't smart enough, because context lives in your head, not in the repo. Same with knowing when AI is wrong. Studies suggest nearly half of AI-generated code suggestions are almost correct, but not quite. In production, almost correct means a crash at 3 a.m. The developers getting hired are the ones who catch that before it ships. Same with asking the right questions. AI generates answers. Professionals generate questions. Are we solving the right problem? What breaks if this scales by 10x? Is this architecture right for where this business is going in 18 months? AI doesn't ask those. You have to. The problem isn't that you're not good enough. It's that you're training for a sport that already changed the rules. In 2026, knowing Python is about 25% of the job. That's the part AI already knows how to do. The other 75% is understanding the system, reading the business, catching what the machine gets wrong, and being the human in the room whose judgment can't be replaced. The path is no longer learn Python, get a job. The path is learn Python, build real things, work with AI instead of against it, and become genuinely irreplaceable. Reason 1, you recognize code, you don't know it. Fix, build from a blank screen. Reason 2, your portfolio proves nothing. Fix, solve a problem that exists outside a tutorial. Reason 3, nobody knows you exist. Fix, show up in communities, be the person who helps. Reason 4, you describe tech, not impact. Fix, problem, solution, impact until it's automatic. Reason 5, you're training for a game that changed. Fix, work with AI, master what AI can't do. Every single one of these is learnable. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's knowing which game you're actually playing. Remember Joaquin? Here's the part that matters. The bug wasn't in anything he wrote wrong. His code was clean. His error handling was solid. He'd done everything a tutorial would tell him to do. What broke him was something his code never checked for, because in dev, with 10 rows of test data, it never needed to. But in production, with 800 concurrent users on the highest traffic night of the year, it collapsed in under an hour. The gap between tutorial code and production code isn't about intelligence. It's about exposure. Exposure to load, to failure, to a system that doesn't care how clean your functions look. And that gap, the specific bug, the exact line, and how to make sure you never ship it, that's what the next video is about. The next video is right there on your screen. It's the full Joaquin story, exactly what broke, why it broke, and the 4 things that separate code that looks good in a review from code that survives midnight on Block Friday.